Hey everybody, welcome back to Joe and Tell. I'm Joe, and in today's episode, as promised, I'm going to show you how to draw an anime eye. Much like my previous video on drawing a realistic eye, drawing an anime eye is not going to require a whole lot. In fact, we won't have a reference, and our material list is going to be the same. So grab your pencil, grab your paper, and let's get to drawing the anime eye.
This is how I typically draw an anime eye, and it's going to vary quite a bit from the previous eye drawing video in that anime eyes are very stylized, and so they're going to look a lot different than a regular person's eye. So typically they're much larger, and they're not necessarily that oval shape like we drew in the past. So what I'll do is more draw maybe like an egg shape, which is going to be kind of weird, but I'll draw maybe something like, something like that, just like an egg, right? And that will be kind of the basis for the overall eye. And now the iris, or the inner circle in an anime eye, is quite large. So I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw the whole oval. It's much more like football shaped. Very, very, very large. Something like that. Okay. Right now it doesn't look like a whole lot, but we'll get there. And then I'm going to draw the inside part, the pupil, and that's going to be quite large as well. Okay, something like that maybe. All right, again, I'm holding my pencil very loosely. Nice light lines, lets me erase easy later on. So these are just kind of starting points, guides, if you will, to get you going. Okay, so the overall shape I like. There's some weirdness happening here, so I'm going to see if I can touch that up a little bit. Turn my paper here, get a little bit of better shape. Yep, I like that better. Okay, and take this in a bit. And once we have this the way we like it, we can kind of start to define where that eyelid is going to go. And so what I'm going to do is something like, just follow the shape of the eye loosely. And then once you get it the way you like it, you can go in and darken it up. And anime has very heavy, it's very clean, but very heavy lines in their art style. So we'll mimic that by making sure we have a very heavy eyelid line here. Or I guess this represents the eyelashes, but so that's kind of be the top of the eye. And then we'll add just a little bit of a line down here to kind of indicate where the eye is coming down at. So we can make it pointy like that. And then what we're going to do is, again, with the wind swoops, we're going to kind of swoop our pencil out a bit and make these big chunky eyelashes. It's getting very stylized. It's not going to be realistic, but you can do this. And then what we'll do is I'll typically do another one that's a little bit longer, and then a shorter one. But that's all I'll do. Is I'll do 3. I might put one over here just for fun. And again, the same rule applies for drawing boy anime versus girl anime. They're going to have, you're not going to have nearly as many eyelashes for a boy. Okay, so that's looking all right. Now we're going to go ahead and darken up our iris. Again, we can go over this with a couple of different passes. And these lines will be very, very thick and heavy once we're finished. But you'll notice that I'm not doing it all at once. I'm not, dragging my pencil across super hard. I'm doing it nice and light. And as I feel more and more comfortable with the shape, I kind of tend to try and darken it up. See, I just made a mistake. Oh well. Fix that real quick. And if yours does not look like this, that is completely okay, because it's your drawing and not my drawing. My drawing looks like this. Your drawing looks the way it looks, and that's awesome. That's what drawing is all about. Everybody has their own unique style. So don't worry if it doesn't look like mine. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to look like yours. So we've got the iris drawn, and now we're going to do the pupil. If you watch the previous video on drawing an eye, we did a highlight like that with a circle. I know anime can do that, but a lot of times they'll do like almost like a jelly bean shape or some kind of weird shape. So what I do is I'll follow the top of the eyelid, and then I'll follow down the line of the pupil and kind of just make a rounded, almost like jelly bean or bubble or something, kind of like that. And that will be my highlight. Okay. So now we're going to go in and we're going to darken up the pupil that we like. And go all the way up and around. And then we can start darkening that in if we'd like. And just color the whole pupil in, being careful to avoid the highlight. That's the bright white light. And typically in anime, the more highlight, the more of these that you put in, it looks like they're closer and closer to being to crying. So if you want to look like they're upset, you can add a couple of these guys in. But if you just do one, typically it just looks like basic light. Okay. And now I'm going to, again, add the shadow for the eyelid. And I'm going to bring that down about here. And I'm going to follow the curve of the eyelid over here, and I'm going to bring it down on this side as well. And then we can just color that whole thing in too. And that can be as dark as the pupil. Because again, it's stylized, it's anime. And so this is the way it's going to make it look like the anime that you're familiar with, right? Okay. Let's keep coloring that in. Make this darker. Over it a second time. Touch up the spots I missed. Okay. All right. So we have the pupil colored in. We have the shadow of the eyelid for the iris, but we can also keep that going for the rest of the eye. So but this time it's going to be much lighter. So we'll do a little bit of shadow like that. And then on the other side, we'll do a little bit of shadow like that. Okay. And now we can, in the previous video, we did a bunch of these lines, and we can do this here too. You know, short and long lines just for some detail to make it look like an iris a little bit more. And again, it just doesn't really matter. They don't have to be short, long. They can be all kinds of different lengths and shapes. The only thing you want to do is make sure you keep them skinny and away from the pupil, right? So something like that, okay? And now I'm going to take and bring my shading of the iris down a little bit from the top. And this is going to be nice and light. And if you watch my pencil, I'm going to follow the shape of the eye. So now I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down. And now I'm going catty corner. And now I'm going left and right, left and right, left and right until I go up to the top. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to do a little bit darker. And I'm a little bit darker on this side. And I think I might have went too dark down here, so I'm going to lighten that up just a little bit with the eraser. I can always go back and adjust if I need to. Okay. And now we're going to do the bottom of the eyelid. Again, in my last video, I said I like to keep that really light. In anime, it's typically pretty heavy. So we can do something like this. Make it very, very heavy. I cut my the bottom of my eye off, so I'm going to have to erase that. And that's okay. And then I'm going to do maybe right about where this eye is going to connect. I'm going to make a eyelash and another eyelash and maybe one more. Okay. I'll go ahead and erase some of this line, sketch lines up here, there's construction lines. I'm going to give this character their eyelid, nice and light. Sometimes it's hard to remember to go back to drawing light once you've been drawing very hard for shading and things. So just make sure you vary how hard you're drawing. Okay, and then typically they won't have any kind of indication of a bag or anything under their eye. For the most part. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know that I like the way that is going. So I'm going to erase this and make it more like that. And I'm going to make this even thicker than it is. Darken this up. Darken the pupil up. The pupil is going to be the darkest thing on the drawing, so you want to make sure that's nice and dark. Okay, maybe lighten this up just a little bit more. Maybe up a little bit on the sides, but not a whole lot. And now you can, if you'd like, you can draw or add your eyebrow like that. Sometimes that's all it is in anime, just a line. Sometimes it's very skinny. Sometimes it's more thick.
Well, there you have it. That was drawing an anime eye step by step. I hope you're able to follow along. And I want to give you some advice. Try not to get too caught up in how your eye looks. The drawing that you just did may not look exactly like you want it to, and that's okay. Did you have fun? Did you learn something? I hope so. And that's really the point. It's just have fun and draw all the time. I can't tell you how many eyes I've drawn over the years. So practice, 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 and we'll see you in the next video.